All right, hello everyone. So we're gonna go over at problem 12, 11A. I actually had issues with this problem, so if you're having issues as well, uh, don't be discouraged. So the first thing that I did, the only thing that I really did correctly was just organize it, make sure that you have the proper headings. So for here is for the year end December 2000, so December 31st, 2017. And then you just order things, cash flows from operating activities, then the net income, and just make sure that you put all the operating activities together. And then after that, you put the net cash provided by operating activities. Same thing you do for the investing activities, the financing activities, then the net increase in cash at the beginning of period, cash at the end of period, and the non-cash investing and financing activities, so the acquired land by issuance of common stock. So let's begin at the top. For net income, it actually tells you what net income is. It says it right here. Net income for 2017 was 43,586. So I added that. And then for the net cash provided by operating expense, we get the amount for depreciation expense, which is 476. It says it right here. Now for the loss on disposal of plant assets, what I did was that on number 5, I took the book value of 11,780 and I subtracted 9,424 from it, and it gave me 2,356. I had initially put it negative because I thought it was a loss, but it was wrong, so I switched it to positive, and that was right. The decrease in account receivables, 9,424. I got that because I subtracted accounts receivable. So I subtracted 68,324 by 58,900, and that's the answer that I got. So I put the total here. The increase in inventory, for that, what I did is I went to inventory, and since it went from 167,000 to 176, the difference in that is 11,132, and it's negative. I guess it does the opposite. Since it went up, you have to put negative. Then decrease in prepaid expenses, 6,738. So you go to prepaid expenses and you see the difference. So there was a decrease. So you put that 6,738 right there. An increase in accounts payable. You go to accounts payable. There was an increase, 1,284. It's not that I don't know how to add. It's that I had some of these wrong. Like I had the opposite. I had negative when they were positive, and one was positive when it was negative when I did my last check. So these numbers are wrong, but I do have the correct figures. For this one, for the net cash provided by operating activities, you add up and subtract all these numbers. The number it gave me initially was 69,502 for net cash at first, and then I'm sorry, 67,000. Sorry about that. 67,000 146. This adds up to that. And then I added it with the 43,586, which would have given me 110,732. And that's what your net cash provided by operating activities would be. If you had the numbers correctly, would be 110,732. Then this is where I really got stumped trying to figure out the sale of land. So what I had to do to figure out the correct sale of land is I had to look here. So I had that 47,120. And then I would have added that to 153,140. And then after that, I would subtract the 170,810. By doing that, I would have 29,450 as the sale of land. So that's the number that should be here. It should be 29,450. And then for the sale of equipment is 9,424. And this actually tells you here that equipment was sold for 9,424. And then the purchase of equipment, which is a negative, it's 108,376, and you see it here. That tells you that much. And if I would have had the correct numbers, I would have ended up with a net cash of $69,502 for the net cash. And then cash flows from the financing activities, the only one that we're told of is the cash dividends. So 14,136 were paid, and that's what you would have had here. And then when you would have added all of these numbers up, if you had the correct information, it would have been so you would have added the 110,732, subtracted the 69,502, and your net cash increase would have been 27,094 total. So you wanted to put that amount there, 27,094 as the net cash increase. And then the cash at the beginning period, which is 53,010, and I know that because it says it right here at the end of 2016, which is the beginning of 2017, it would have been 53,010. And when you add that up, it comes out to 80,104 as the end cash period. And then at here, last thing at the bottom is the 47,120, which is what we're told here, that the shares of $1 par value common stock were issued in exchange for land for that amount, 47,120. So that's the end. I would say the most important thing to watch out for is the sale of land. So just make sure that for the sale of land, you take last year's and you add that, the amount for last year's, and you add that to the 47,120, and then you subtract it by this year's amount for land, which is 170,810. But if you have any more questions, feel free. Again, I apologize for not having the correct answers. So, all right, take care.